Right, welcome back, YouTube. We've got a bit of a check-in going on first with Jade. Now, shows-wise, that's actually what we're going to talk about today.
Alright, good.
Yeah, shows. Picking shows for this year. I think probably going to start in August. One thing that I really want to mention in regards bikini, especially, girls try to rush the process way too much, where they put so much pressure on themselves to look a certain way, especially throughout the off season. Each and every single off season, you will be able to hold your weight better and you will be able to stay a touch leaner and healthier. And that is a byproduct of some adaptation that actually happens with more muscle maturity and actually more time in the gym, more time building muscle, and more time actually being able to spend in a surplus as well. So one point that we've just seen with Jade as we've been looking at her, she's 21 pound over stage weight right now. In comparison to last year, she's still a lot leaner than she was. One thing that she's learned to accept is she has to get a little bit softer throughout the off season to get better and to improve. And every single year we've managed to actually step forward a lot with her development as well. You have to really be able to emotionally detach yourself from wanting to look a certain way, especially when you look at some of the girls that have been doing it 10, 15 years, and some of the girls that are at the top that unfortunately have the predisposition to be able to stay leaner naturally. If you're not that girl, you're screwed in a way. You're gonna have to accept that you are gonna have to do what works for you, not necessarily what's working for these girls. So I think that's a big one that we need to look at. Now, let's go, get some posing in. Now Jade is actually a full-time coach now, and she's offering full-time posing as well. So any bikini girls that wanna brush up on your posing this year, definitely get in touch with Jade. She will sort you out and make sure you get top Class A service. Now, a big point as well that Jade does teach her clients as well, you have to learn to pose both sides, which Jade now has nailed down. And the reason why we actually pose both sides now, she was caught off guard. How many years ago now? 3 years, 2 years ago?
Yeah.
2 or 3 years ago.
Budapest,
where they made everyone pose the other side. And luckily, she actually got it pretty decent, but
can do it better now.
yeah, she can do it better. Some of the girls that actually knew how to do it, they were like laser sharp with it. But now, we've actually got that. So this side is obviously the weaker side, which we don't really present, but still, we have to know how to pose both sides. This way, you don't get in a situation where you are posing at a different stage that you have to face the other way as well. So you have to be mindful of that as a bikini athlete. Beautiful. Keep nailing your vacuums every morning as well. I think that's made a big difference. Because like even now in off season, your midsection's so much tighter.
Yeah, it is.
Yeah. Because even now, comparing this to how you are now, when it started prep last time, it's miles different. It's a different ball game as well, posing at that level. Like if you stepped on a normal stage now, posing like that, it'd be perfect. But when you're competing against them girls, and they're like, you have to.
Before you know it.
Yeah, 100%. So walking your heels a lot as well. I think that's going to help.
Yeah.
Especially now you're coaching full time. You're going to have more time just to do these little extra bits that you didn't have time when you were doing a lot of the one-to-ones. Beautiful.
Yeah.
Right, do a few more in there, a few more rounds in there.
Yeah.
And then we'll go downstairs and get planning. I don't think we'll need that long, but I always, especially with you, I'd rather just have that more time, just so we're not.
No,
Do you know what I mean? Because especially with how we always look, again, I want to have you fully ready at 2 weeks out, or even at 2 weeks out, be a little bit on the leaner side, and then like we did last time, just start feeding up.
makes you feel better as well.
100%. And you look so much fresher on stage. Definitely get you down, and then fill up properly. I think it's a better look rather than like, look at the food you was eating towards back end of that prep last year. Exactly. And you didn't feel trashed. So if we can do that, get ready early, whatever shows we've got lined up over like a month or two, because we're reverse dieting you into it, you'll be able to hold that and just keep going. At that point, you're not going to be doing any cardio. You're just going to be doing steps. There's not going to be that much stress on your body like other girls have to go through because they don't just plan correctly, do you know what I mean? It's just getting that first stint of prep over with and done. Once that's done, we're fucking there, and then it's just improving on that. Right, training up next. For now, you can chat to Meg. Peace out.
you've just seen, wonderful Jade has just done a in-person check-in. I can imagine that she looks fantastic. I was downstairs though, but as Cooper says, it is my turn to do the YouTube because it says that I don't do enough videos. I told him that I would do 2 to 3 per week to month, and I do that. Apparently it's not enough. It's never good enough, guys. Anyway, we're on push. We're on a separate session to the last time that you saw me do push. I will do another type of video because I feel like I'm doing push all the time, but I've got to get some big delts, so it is important. You actually saw me do this session maybe a couple of videos ago, and I did it as a devolume. Training volume on it has slightly changed, literally due to the fact that I am no longer on cycle, and my recovery around, obviously things get taken out, is slightly different. So that is why things have reduced a little. So you will see that and I'll go through them. I'm also going to go through some training volume applications / training programming for females and why it's important to train upper for different classes, what you would be looking for, how you would implement things, etc. So that's what we're going to go through this YouTube, because it's nice to always have a little bit of a genre topic. Feel like a strong bitch today. This exercise is the lying cable DY raise. I love this movement. I get a real nice pump from it into my delts. Sometimes when I do a lying cuff lateral raise, it just feels really, I don't know, I feel a lot of it into my triceps. Maybe I'm doing it wrong, but this just feels fantastic. All delt, nothing else really. Even like traps, even with the way that it looks, and it looks like you'll take a lot of work into your traps. You really don't, so it's actually very nice. Bastards. When it comes to your training, if you are a coach and obviously you're giving out a program for someone, especially if they're looking to do a bodybuilding show, obviously it needs to be based upon their needs. You need to do an assessment of their physique, your obviously pictures, videos, etc. And then obviously you can accumulate volume where is needed. The majority of people that obviously myself and Cuba coach now are obviously not really beginners. So you can still be specific even if they are a beginner to bodybuilding, because they've already had some training years perhaps under their belt. When it comes to a beginner, perhaps slightly different, but if you are a bodybuilder and you're going in to get coached by someone, your training needs to be based upon your needs. Class to class, say someone is a bikini competitor compared to someone else is a bikini competitor, is there going to be some similarities in programming? Yeah, 100%. But it should be different person to person, whether that be through rep ranges, intensifiers, depending on their training age. It's all got to be a little bit different.
One more touch. I'm going to work. I'm ready to work.
So onto my second movement, which is the high incline, well, it's kind of high to mid incline press. Can't do a high incline press due to my own shoulder mobility. Had a few shoulder problems when I was in my prior life, so hence why I do the positioning as I do. Again, because it's tailored towards my needs. Perhaps some people may be similar to me, perhaps some people may have good mobility to be able to do a higher incline press. It all depends on you and the way in which your body moves as to the way in which you sometimes do some movements.
Strong, come on. Yes. Come on.
Yes.
Good. Good.
Right.
Good. Come on. Oh, good. Beautiful. Excellent. Beautiful.
So that was a PB. I probably need to maybe perhaps stop trying to go for PBs on here now. when you come off cycle, I think that people, especially as a female, maybe a male, who do, you'll realise that you've not got quite the same joint strength and stability to push through, especially on pressing movements. So I think that trying to stay at that and trying to build up my reps back up to 9 would probably be a good one. But I was really happy with my depth, really happy with my control on the way down. So yeah, good. When it comes to a Smith press, obviously the range of angle that I'm doing compared to Kuba and Mark is very different. For a male bodybuilder and a women's physique competitor / women's bodybuilder, do want to build a lot of density into their chest and kind of top line, whereas for figure, we obviously just want more kind of a little bit of front delt, a nice cap into the delts. We don't really need a huge amount of density here because it takes away from that real nice wow factor of the delt to if you had the density there. So that's why we have that. Obviously that shows the difference between kind of my class compared to something like women's physique or women's bodybuilding, plus also men's classes as well.
Come on, mate.
Come on, mate.
Yes. Come on. Yes. Come on. Drive. Yes. More. Yes, yes. Come on. Keep going. Drive. Keep driving. Keep driving. Yes. Come on. Drive. Yes. Yes, and again.
Let's go, man. Come on.
Drive. Yes. 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 Yes.
Third exercise is the high incline stride. Obviously pretty much hitting the same as what I was on the Cybex Smith upper pec and front delt, because that's where I need a lot of my density. Don't really need any in my actual chest. And it looks a little bit silly on bigger competitors if you're on stage and you do have a dense chest, so aim to just get that top line. So moving on to my fourth exercise with the narrow grip prime press here. What I'm trying to target is upper pec into my front delt and then also my tricep. This is probably my only flat press, because it is a flat press, in my programming, but because I am going with a neutral grip, it will target where I need it to. Obviously really focused on making sure that when I drive up to the ceiling with my arms, that I keep my shoulders locked into the bench, and that really gets the upper pec front delt really firing. So I like this movement a lot. We used to do it on the Smith, now we've progressed it onto a prime press. I can't take myself seriously anymore. One of the most common mistakes I see among bikini amateur competitors is going onto stage with a far too big arm, too big of a bicep, too big of a tricep. I'm not saying that you don't want to train those exercises, because perhaps specifically to you, you may need to, but your biceps and triceps need to not overpower your delts. Your delt need to be big enough to the point where there's something there and it's got a real nice pop to it. But again, it doesn't need to be that big that it's bubbling around and got lots of striations into it, because that's not what the bikini class is all about. So make sure that your training reflects exactly how your physique needs to grow and is growing. If it needs adapting over time, you should have a good enough coach to be able to adapt that for you. And if you do it yourself, make sure that you're really analysing your physique at your check-in, not just checking whether you are lean enough or not too lean. At that point, it needs to be about where is the muscle being accrued, what is happening, what needs to change if it needs to change. It's not just let's carry on and see how we go. You've got to make sure that you are doing the things correct for your class that you obviously want to do. Second to last exercise, which is exercise number 5, I think. I don't know, I've lost count. Is crossbody side laterals. I really like them because it gets a really nice stretch onto your delt, because as you bring it down by your side, obviously you've got the rope trying to, well, the cable trying to pull you back, but you've got to obviously keep your upper arm to the front of the body to make sure that all the stretch stays on your side delt. So there's a real nice stretch and kind of resistance that comes from that before you then drive back out. So I actually really like them. But if you don't know how to do an actual side lateral raise with a dumbbell or a single arm cable, don't start getting fancy with movements. Nail down how to do it properly first. Basics for years before you start getting really fancy with things, because there's literally no point. Basics work, then you can start getting a little bit fruity if you can. I wanted that last rep. If you're a beginner to bodybuilding, does it really matter too much about specificity? Not really, no. What does matter is learning how to train properly, effectively, hard, with good intensity. And you need to build a base of muscle to begin with. So the split can be almost full body training, and full body training I mean literally doing full body each time you go in, or then doing an upper lower split. If you actually watch Jordan Peters' breakdown of that on YouTube, it's really fantastic, and it's a great way to first learn how to train, get a little bit of muscle before you then get really specific. It'll probably highlight to you which class you're going to be more suited for when you do start growing a little bit of muscle anyway, because genetics do play a huge role. But yeah, if you are a beginner, stop trying to do what Miss Olympia's doing. splits. Obviously, someone who is a women's physique competitor / figure competitor, women's bodybuilder, your split is going to be very different to say someone who's doing a bikini or a wellness division. Obviously, a bikini competitor and a wellness competitor are a little bit more bottom heavy. Obviously, wellness is more muscular, way more muscular than bikini, but obviously they are more bottom heavy than top heavy. So it would be very strange if a bikini competitor was to do a split like push-pull legs. Obviously, the majority of their work does need to come into their lower. So majoritively, when it comes to bikini splits / wellness splits, you want to be doing lower and upper. Upper will combine kind of push and pull, so back, shoulders, etc. Alongside obviously doing lower body splits with more glute and ham dominant if you are a bikini competitor, with minimal quads, and then obviously a real good split between quads, hamstrings, glutes if you are a wellness competitor. For someone like us that obviously need all-round density, a push-pull legs is king in my opinion. Oh, it's a no. Oh, my triceps. As a bikini competitor, you might want to know why not to train triceps, because especially as someone who would do IFBB, you could obviously hide your tricep by obviously rotating your elbow in. But unfortunately, then when you start to pose, you are going to see the tricep. You don't want that to be literally the only thing that they're looking at. Same thing as like your calves. You don't want massive calves, because when you're in those shots, when you're moving around, they'll be the first things that you're drawn to. The things that they want to be drawn to is your lovely pretty face, obviously, a nice tiny midsection, a really lovely delt, and some big bubbly glutes. So they're the only things that you need really. So you've got to have training that reflects that. Got the tricep pump. I'm going to talk about my tingly fingers because everybody blames it on GH. Got Raynaud's, you bastards. Thank you for watching. That is the end of my lovely push session. Hopefully you got some good information from it, alongside obviously watching my session. Tried to make it a little bit more interesting because it's a little bit boring to watch the actual session, but please like, share, subscribe, all that fun stuff. I'm going to do some abs because I've not got any, so if you've not got any abs, make sure you do them, and do them well, do them heavy. I need to stop it. I'm going home.